Right now, protests in Hong Kong are continuing to boil over, and they've been going on now for 11 weekends. Today, people right here in Utah stepped up to show their support.
And we'll show you their demonstration in just a moment, but first, Fox correspondent Susan Lee shows us how much these protests have grown out of control.
The 11th straight weekend of pro-democracy protests kicking off in Hong Kong Saturday. Thousands of school teachers joining the demonstrations, marching under rainfall and occasional thunderstorms, expressing their support to other activists, many of whom are students.
We still want to use our method, which is peaceful, to tell the government that we want them to withdraw the bill, extradition bill.
Other protesters shining laser pointers at riot police, a move that they adopted after authorities deemed the pointers to be weapons. Meantime, pro-government and police supporters also holding a rally Saturday. Many of the participants waving Chinese flags, giving thumbs up to the police. The ongoing demonstrations highlighting the political divide in the semi-autonomous Chinese territory. Chinese paramilitary forces are moving closer to Hong Kong, carrying out crowd control exercises just across the border, using shields, batons, and other riot control gear. Their actions sparking fears of a violent crackdown by Beijing, which is now referring to the protests as terrorism. Police in Hong Kong say there's still time to avoid military intervention.
We are confident that we have the capability to maintain law and order in Hong Kong.
American flags flying throughout the protests. President Trump has remained reserved amidst tough trade negotiations with China. The president says he is hopeful the protests will remain nonviolent and is urging Chinese President Xi to meet with the movement's leadership.
I would be willing to bet that if he sat down with the protesters, a group of representative protesters, I'll bet he'd work it out in 15 minutes.
Another mass demonstration is scheduled for Sunday. Police have denied the protesters a permit, but they say they will show up anyways. In Hong Kong, Susan Lee, Fox Business.
Those protests, of course, gaining a lot of attention here in the U.S. Fox 13 photojournalist Malika Dixon shows us how Utahns are joining the movement.
Ready? We go now. Free Hong Kong again. Free Hong Kong. Free Hong Kong. Free Hong Kong.
Hong Kong used to be a British colony, but in 1997, Britons returned Hong Kong back to China, and we are guaranteed to have the freedom of speech, press, freedom of demonstration.
Free Hong Kong.
However, recently we're seeing increasing tightening grip exerted by China to erode the democracy of Hong Kong.
Free Hong Kong.
So we would lose our freedom, basically.
The Hong Kong government are not listening. The protests are escalating.
But we are doing this protest and this peaceful march to show support for the people in Hong Kong right now. I do feel a little bit worried. They've been telling me what's going on, and we really hope that all the violence will stop.
Instead of listening to us, they just used police force to dispel us, using tear gas, beanbag rounds. Just recently, there's a girl who's standing in front with no arm, and the police shoot her with a beanbag in her right eye, and she was permanently blinded. When I found out about how unfairly protesters are treated, it makes me sad, and I couldn't sleep the night when I found out about the disheartening news that are going on in Hong Kong.
People are in fear right now. I hope this march can help my friends in Hong Kong to feel supported.
At this point, protesters we spoke with say future demonstrations could even happen in Salt Lake City if they get enough supporters.